Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Silverstone. This is the 750 Motor Club's 16th meeting of the year, been celebrating their 80th year of in existence. Today we have the Royal Purple Hot Hatch and combined Demon Twigs Classic Stock Hatch races. They are combined, and we have two of those sprint races, followed by the BMW Car Club. Two races for them as well. They're sprints. They will open and close the event. In the middle, we have the Tigway Road Sports and Club Enduros. The Road Sports race for 40 minutes and the Club Enduros for 2 hours. My name is Lewis Beals. I'll be here in the pit lane, and I'll be joined by Ian Simon in the main commentary box and Marcus Pye down at Beckett's. Well, as I'm saying, as the first of the races for the Royal Purple Hot Hatch and Demon Twigs Classic Stock Hatch races about to get underway.
Yes, a very good morning to you and welcome along to Silverstone for effectively the second day of this race meeting organised by the 750 Motor Club, and completely contrasting conditions, as you can see on your screens, compared to what we had yesterday. It's a beautiful late October autumn morning here for 750 Motor Club Championship Finals Day, in stark contrast to what we had yesterday for the 69th running of the Burkitt Relay Race. We've got the cars going out onto their green flag lap on the Grand Prix circuit here at Silverstone for a combined race for the Royal Purple Hot Hatch Championship, which has already been sewn up, and the Demon Twigs Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship. It is a big grid, so let me run you through that now. And on pole position, it is going to be Ben Rushworth, who is now secure as Class A champion, because his main rival, Gary Preble, not here this weekend. He is competing at Spa in the Citroen C1 24-hour race. So it's 22 Ben Rushworth and 88 Stephen Sawley on the front row of the grid. Second row will have 93 Patrick McCarthy and 5 Ryan Steele. Third row, 7 Jonathan Swift and 63 Phil Wright, who was in form last time out at Snetterton in his Class B car. Row 4, 136 Ryan Polly, the new Clio champion, is alongside 169 Tony Perfect. On row 5 of the grid, it's 33 Sean Green and 24 Callum Hoochin. Row 6, 121 Scott Edgar and 68 Dan Gibbs. The 7th row of the grid, we've got one of the handicap winners from yesterday's Burkitt relay race. The Three Amigos 2.01, that was Paul Hinson, David Drinkwater and Adam Reed. And it's David Drinkwater that lines up on the inside of row 7 in car number 17 alongside number 16 James Alford. The 8th row of the grid will have 71 Michael Story and 39 William Hornsey. The 9th row 56 Robert Fagg and 27 Paul Foreman. Row 10, 42 William Hunt and 72 Tom Silk. On row 11, 86 Tim Parsons and 172 Chris Heathcote. Nick Laston, number 10, and David Measday, 55, line up on row 12. Head of 98 Paul Warren and 98 Alex Martin. With 36 Peter Grist and 89 Mark Ashman rounding out the field for the hot hatches. Then there is a gap and there will be a 20-second delay before the Demon Twigs and Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship cars are released. And on pole position for those is number 67 Matthew Stubbington, who went well last time out at Silverstone, and alongside him is number 2 Matt Rosier, still very much in contention for the championship. On the inside of row 2, it will be number 9 Andrew Thorpe and number 1 Lee Scott, the reigning champion, the multiple champion indeed, and the man in the box seat as far as the championship is concerned. Something like a 3rd and a 4th place finish today would do it for him. On the 3rd of the Classic Stock Hatch rows, it's 4 Ted Cooper in the Nova and 87 Stuart Place in the Peugeot. A returning former Stock Hatch champion is on the inside of row number 4. That's 40 Jeff Humphreys, drive the ex-Andy Harbison Peugeot 205 GTI, and 41 Jason Woods Nova. Row 5 will be 6 Andy Philpotts and 89 Richard Kelsall. 2 Fiestas then on row 5. Row 6, 99 Scott Ward and 39 Martin Rogers, Fiesta and Peugeot. Then it's 77 Derek Rosier and 88 Darren Bassingthwaite, 91 Steve Greer and 34 Ben Ward, 26 Paul Brock and 27 Sam Hutchinson and his Fiesta. Hannah Newton back out after a period out in her late father's car, the Fiesta number 52 alongside 21 Ian Gribbin. And the last 2 rows of the grid have 92 Rick Groom, 62 Alan Dewley and 58 Pete Oscarby. On screen at the minute you can see the car of, I think that is the new Clio champion Ryan Polly. So I struggle to make things out in this these rather bright conditions here. Yes, it is Ryan Polly here at Silverstone today. The cars just making their way through onto the infield section of the circuit and down into the site of my co-commentator this weekend, based out of the Beckett's commentary box, Marcus Pike. Marcus, a very good morning to you, and what a different day it is to yesterday.
This is absolutely extraordinary, isn't it? But very typical of Silverstone, and we get these sort of days in late October. It's absolutely glorious out here. It's not too cold. The temperature dropped dramatically during the day yesterday, but yesterday we didn't see anything other than a sullen grey sky. All the atmosphere was provided by the racers. Today we've got glorious blue skies, some splendid racing and some big fields.
Yep, and this is a big one. I think in total across the 2 grids we've got more than 50 cars, which is absolutely fantastic around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. We were probably going to try and focus mostly, I think, on what's going on in the Demon Twigs Yokohama Classic Stock Hatches, who go on the 2nd wave on a 20-second delay, because that's where there's a championship still to be decided. As far as hot hatch is concerned, well, the overall and the class championship's already settled. The overall champion is the Burkitt 6-hour relay race winner, David Drinkwater. He's having a pretty good season, isn't he? Unless he does anything really daft today and picks up a disqualification or 2. But David Drinkwater looks like he is the champion. Martin Ward, who's not racing here today, has wrapped up Class B in his Civic. And the overall title, well, it could have been in dispute had Gary Preble been here rather than at Spa. But because he's at Spa, Ben Rushworth can't be overhauled in the Class A Championship race, although he should have a good battle on his hands today with Stephen Sawley, who starts alongside him on the front row of the grid. They've had some good battles in the past. As I say, in Classic Stock Hatch, you've got the overall championship still to be decided between Lee Scott and Matt Rosier. And last time out, it was a win for Andrew Thorpe and Matt Rosier in the 2nd race. So Rosier on a bit of form here coming into these last couple of rounds. He really could do with winning both races and just hoping that Lee Scott can't get a couple of decent results out of it, because if that is the case, then Matt Rosier could snatch the title away late on, although he hasn't had a win until that last round of the championship. So the final few rows of cars coming into position. Onto the grid there, you can see Ben Rushworth's car on the right-hand side of the shot, pole position on the left-hand side of the circuit here at Silverstone. He's in the black and turquoise Integra. And then it's the Civic with the black and yellow Union flag on its roof. Then you've got Patrick McCarthy in a more standard Integra, alongside Ryan Steele's little Saxo that had a couple of podiums last time out at Snetterton on Road 2. Green flag is waved at the back though, so the race is about to get underway. It's going to be 13 minutes plus 1 lap around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. The red lights I can see are on, and they go out, and away we go. It's a good start there by Stephen Sawley from the front row and from Ryan Steele from the second row of the grid. They're heading off down towards Copse Corner for the first time. It looks like it might be Sawley that's got into the lead of the race then, waiting for the classic stock hatch cars to be released on their 20-second delay, and they go now, and it's a good start by Matt Rosier from the outside of the front row of the grid. I can see Matt Rosier going into an early lead, and he has got ahead. Well, Matt Stubbington is also going to lose a place to Lee Scott as well. Lee Scott forging his way through into second place as they make their way down towards Copse Corner for the first time. So it's Rosier leading, doing what he needs to do, but Lee Scott up into second place. Marcus, the hot hatch cars already past you.
Absolutely, the last one's gone through. It was Stephen Sawley who led by a very narrow margin. Here come the stock hatches. It's the blue and white car, which is Matt Rosier. Lee Scott on his tail, where he wants to sit as tail gunner. Look, Andrew Thorpe trying to go round Stubbington to get third as they go through the flick-flack here. It goes round to the right, round to the left, round to the right, round to the left, onto the hanger straight. But car goes off, and that looks like is that the Thorpe car,
that
black and
Thorpe,
green car,
that
wasn't
was
it?
Thorpe, yeah.
That's a Chapel Curve, early visit to the church.
Indeed so. The two leads in hot hatch though are nose to tail as they head through Club Corner for the first time, and it's a good run through Club there for Ben Rushworth, getting right onto the tail of Stephen Sawley now. They come onto the international pit straight. It looks like it's Ryan Steele there in third place in the Saxo. Fourth, I think, is Patrick McCarthy in the Integra, but down the straight actually, the black and white and yellow car of Stephen Sawley is able to pull away. Meanwhile, for the lead of the classic stock hatches, it's side by side there as well, and it's Lee Scott trying to go around the outside of Matt Rosier into the Vale, and he's done it. So a change of lead there. Matt Rosier goes down to second place, Lee Scott goes into the lead, and that is absolutely crucial as far as the championship is concerned, because the one thing Matt Rosier doesn't want is Lee Scott finishing ahead of him. So can he fight back? We've got Matthew Stubbington fighting him as well. They are about to head into Abbey, and very soon, Marcus, those will be in your sight. But already the hot hatch is with you.
We have, yes. It was Sawley from Rushworth. And then Ryan Steele in the blue Citroen Saxo was in third place among them. These are on your screens. You'll see the white Fiesta XR2i of Lee Scott, long-time Ford Motor Company man, and the Peugeot of Matt Rosier, his adversary, in behind. Top of the table, it's amazing because we've got 4 different types of car, haven't we? We've got Ford, Peugeot, Citroen, and also the Vauxhall of Ted Cooper.
But meanwhile, in the hot hatch part of the race, heading down towards Copse Corner, you had Ben Rushworth there trying to go round the outside of Stephen Sawley through Luffield. That time he couldn't make it work, and certainly Sawley's car looks to be much the quicker in a straight line. So at the end of the first lap, it's Stephen Sawley leading, Ben Rushworth in second, third is Ryan Steele, fourth is the number 93 car of Patrick McCarthy, and then a whole heap of Hondas, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth, as they head back down towards you. We can see the classic stock hatch back of the hot hatch grid going through Woodcut at the moment, and of course the leaders in the classic stock hatch will be catching them. A retirement there, I'm afraid, for number 39. That's Martin Rogers. He's door open and he's getting out of the car and out of the race. Meanwhile, the leaders, Marcus, are heading down Hanger Straight.
Yeah, leaders have gone, and we're waiting for the next pack of cars. It's an absolutely fascinating scenario, this, as it unfolds, because we've got such a variety of cars out there. We've got different calibers of drivers as well, and it is Rosier back ahead of Scott down here. Stubbington is third among them, and behind them is the Red Nova, which is Ted Cooper.
Okay, so there they go, down the Hanger Straight once again. As you can see there, you've got some of the stragglers from the hot hatch race. They'll be having the classic stock hatches closing in on them before too much longer. Down towards Stowe Corner they go. You can see in there, I think that's the number 99 car, possibly. 98 car, Paul Warren, I think, going through. They're heading down the straight. I can see that 39 car of Martin Rogers has got going again, so that's good news. It's just come past my commentary box.
It's very difficult to pick them up with a very, very bright light over my left shoulder, which I'm very grateful for, but it makes looking at the screen very hard.
It does,
even picking numbers up. We've got Rushworth ahead now of Sawley, and extending a lead of probably 50 metres. In third place there is Steele. and the rest follow through.
Yeah, so we've got some of the Golfs that have joined the grid this year. The Mark II Golfs has joined in with the classic stock within the Hot Hatch Championship this year, which has been good to see, a good addition to those. Meanwhile, we have had the change of lead then, so Ben Rushworth is now ahead, I can see, as he comes through to complete lap 2. He's turning his way through Woodcote Corner. He's ahead now of Stephen Sawley, with Ryan Steele in 3rd place, looking at some of the Class B battling going on there. Meanwhile there, a change of lead in Classic Stock Hatch once again, because that is the number 2 car. Matt Rosier's back in front, and I think he's just about heading through the loop now, so he should just about to be coming past your window, Marcus.
Yep, it's fascinating stuff, all of this. Rushworth and Sawley lead. Steele is in 3rd place. They've got a gap now back to the next of the cars, which is number 7, which is Swift, and McCarthy dropping back in his Integra, waiting for the stock hatches to appear.
Meanwhile, Rosier is turning his way through Luffield now, and he is back out in front and ahead of Lee Scott, but it's basically 4 cars for the lead then in the Classic Stock Hatch part of the race, because Matthew Stubbington is there, and also Stuart Place is there in 4th position as they go over the line. So the top 4 in Classic Stock Hatch covered only by about a second then, as they make their way across the line to start their 3rd lap. Matt Rosier has an advantage of, no more than about 1.2 seconds over the car in 4th position. So they're heading back towards you at Beckett's now.
So it's Place up there, the red car, isn't it, in 4th. We looked at that, waiting for them to come down. Yep, they're in behind one of the Golf Mark IIs. That's going to compress this batch of cars. Ted Cooper is 5th, Andrew Thorpe is in 6th place, I see there. But they're getting stuck now among some of the slower hot hatches, some of the cooler hatches, and they head on to the hangar straight in a real gaggle. This is going to be a classic slipstreamer, and you can see just Bond's bang centre now the white and blue Peugeot, which is Rosier, ahead of Scott. Scott is being slipstreamed by the Golf Mark II, but also down the inside Stubbington and Place there. They both go past the Golf into Stowe Corner, and washing out a little bit wide there, but keeping up plenty of momentum as he gets in, tucks in behind one of the Clios, is Rosier, who might well flash his lights, but he's not going to have the cornering potential. I wouldn't have thought of the newer car ahead of him.
No, that's Chris Heathcote's Clio, so this is really combining and closing everyone back up again. So there's certainly the top 3 there. Stubbington, the 3rd of those cars, and Stuart Place in 4th position. In a straight line, probably the Clio might be a bit quicker than the Peugeot, but not actually too much by the looks of it. So they head down into Abbey Curve for the 3rd time, then with 5.5 minutes of this, the timed element of this race left to go. And it's Rosier hanging on, but being delayed a little bit there, possibly by the Clio. Tries to go around the outside of it through Farm, which he does. Lee Scott follows suit as well. Under braking now down for Village. Lee Scott's on the inside, and he goes through. Does he into the lead? The next corner, though, is the left-hander at the loop, and Rosier goes back in front, Marcus. So there's about 10 past you.
Yes, he does, and Place is there as well. I think he's managed to get past Stubbington. So in lapping Stubbington now absolutely on the tail of the white Fiesta of Scott as they go down the Wellington Straight for the 3rd time. This is an absolutely absorbing battle. Another Mark II Golf to be disposed of for leader Matt Rosier. It's a kind of a problem he doesn't really want to have, but at the moment he's made a few lengths here, and 3-wheeling, tricycling through Brooklands there, the white Fiesta XR2i of Lee Scott in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's Tim Parsons in the Golf, who's in 24th position overall, that they're about to catch. And the next car after that is going to be I think the Thomas Silk car as well. So up and over the line they come, and now Stuart Place is trying to put himself between Lee Scott and Matt Rosier, the 2 of them side by side there as they head down the straight towards Copse Corner, but Place tucks back in behind the white Fiesta of Lee Scott. So it's still Rosier leading, Scott in 2nd place, and then Place in 3rd position as they make their way through Copse Corner and back down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again, Marcus.
Yeah, and they come through. They go round the outside of the yellow Golf. First 2 through, first 3 through. Stubbington now on the back of Place. Then there's a gap back. We've got the big Renault Clio, which actually looks vast in comparison to some of the early kind of 80s cars. And the next 2 or 3 trying to jostle up as well, but they're going to have difficulty in getting up with that lead quartet.
Okay, so they're making their way down the Hanger Straight now. If things stay as they are, I reckon that Lee Scott would wrap things up in this race. As far as the championship,
here comes Stubbington down the inside of Place into Stowe corner, and that was a determined move. Now he's going to wash out, and Place gets back up the inside. He does. They're side by side coming off the corner. The two Peugeots, door handle to door handle. Meanwhile, up front, it is still Rosier by a whisker. And look at that. It was Place who got back into third at Vale.
It is indeed. Meanwhile, just by the way, it's still Ben Rushworth leading now by 6 seconds from Stephen Sawley in second, Ryan Steele in third, Jonathan Swift fourth, Philip Wright leading Class B in fifth, and Patrick McCarthy in sixth position. Class C is being led by the champion David Drinkwater. But we focus here on the Devon Tweaks Yokohama Classic stock catches as they turn their way through Abbey once again towards the left-hander at Farm, and then the tight right-hand hairpin at Village. It's still Rosier ahead doing what he needs to do. But Lee Scott's also doing what he needs to do, and he should wrap up the championship with a round spare here. I see that Matt Rosier's front number plate has somehow become deranged during all of this. Well, that's as a
that was close.
It was close, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the battle, because what Rosier needs more than anything else is for the other two, his other two Peugeot mates, and they're running in third and fourth place, Place and Stubbington, to draft their way up to Lee Scott and take his attention away.
It looks like Patrick McCarthy is going to go into retirement. He's been dropping down the timing screens as he's got his indicator on. He is going to head into the pit lane. So the driver that started on row 2 of the hot hatch grid, he's now out of the race. Meanwhile, in the classic stock catches, it is still Rosier up ahead. They're turning their way through Luffield now and towards Woodcote Corner. They've got a few more of the hot hatch cars ahead of them. They've got the focus of number 72, Thomas Silk, as the next car that they will try and pass. They've probably now got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, there's Place in the red Total liveried car is now right up in the slipstream of Lee Scott. Stubbington, who we know was quick down the Hanger Straight with a tow, as Ben Rushworth goes past on the other side of my commentary box, watching the screen there, because they'll be on the Hanger Straight in a second. The stock hatchers, and they've got some other cars to work their way through as well. They're really driving well, this quartet. They're having a great battle, and very quick off Chapel Curve is off Chapel Curve is Stubbington, and Stubbington trying to engineer his way up to that slipstream again. Here they come. There's the blue Peugeot with the number plate hanging down, and Lee Scott tucks in behind the car to his right. He's going to grab the lead, and Stubbington comes down the inside of Place again. Oh, you're going to get four abreast into there, I don't think.
No, so Scott retakes the lead, then that would definitely make sure of the championship. That was as they passed Thomas Silk's focus. And as you say, very tight between Place and Stubbington as well. Stubbington yet to clear the focus. I think he'll do so now under braking for the Vale. So the 4 cars here, you could throw a blanket over the lot of them, couldn't you? Absolutely fantastic close racing around this.
Little kiss there, I think, from Stubbington on the back of Place. That probably catapulted Place up a couple of miles an hour, I would think.
It looked to, didn't it? It looked as if he might get alongside Rosier for a moment. He won't. Now Scott here is going to put one of the hot hatches, a Saxo that is, between himself and Rosier. So that probably, with only we're now on to the last lap, because Ben Rushworth has just got on to start it.
That's probably the decisive move, isn't it?
I suspect that is. That's sorted probably out of the race and the championship as well. And now Stuart Place trying to get second place away to Rosier. And Stubbington might go through as well. He's alongside as they head down towards you.
Yeah, Rosier's territorial advantage though at the loop, and he might be able to get back, because Lee Scott having trouble getting past one of the Mark II Golfs, and that's going to hinder his straight line speed a tad, because he's got Place behind him now coming down the Hanger Straight, and Scott comes out past that Golf. He's got a more powerful engine, certainly a torquier engine, and the Golf is holding him all the way down there, and doesn't want to cede position either. Doesn't want to cede track position to the stock hatch leader. But the top 4 all together, all going round that Golf, which is proving very pesky.
It certainly is, as they head back into my sight then. They're about to start their last lap then, so it's Lee Scott leading. Then the Golf is the next car through. Then it's Stuart Place second, Matt Rosier third, Matthew Stubbington fourth, as we've got one car stopping there. That is the 89 car of Richard Kelsall. So his Fiesta sadly out of the race now. So the leader overall, Ben Rushworth, actually has already come up towards Luffield for the final time. He is about to head into Woodcote Corner, and Ben Rushworth here, after an early scare, has come through to dominate this race. So we'll just take him to the checkered flag. Up to the line he comes now. Checkered flag is made ready, and although you can't see this on screen, you can now. Ben Rushworth comes through to take the checkered flag in the Royal Purple Hot Hats Championship. He will be well clear of Stephen Sawley, who crosses the line in second place now. And in third position, it's going to be the little Saxo of Ryan Steele. Jonathan Swift should be fourth. Meanwhile, the classic stock catches are heading down Hanger Straight, and it's Stuart Place going after Lee Scott there, Marcus.
Yes, yes. Look at that Golf. It's right in the middle of them. Has a look up the inside, but the heavier Golf will take a bit more stopping for Stowe. And Rosier, I don't know that that precipitated the spin, but there might have been a brush there. But a 360-degree spin for the Golf, that's one way to spin off. Was it a hook or a slice? I don't know, but he was definitely under par at the end of it. There we come. Through the that's the Saxo, isn't it? I guess. Is that Saxo?
Well, on the screen now we can see the AX. I think of Andrew Thorpe, number 9, who is he's in where are we? 1, 2, about 5th or 6th position within the classic stock catches as they head down towards
Rosier,
Abbey.
isn't it?
Rosier going around the outside of Stubbington, or Stubbington down the inside of Rosier probably for third position, and it's Rosier number 2 just about hanging on there, but it's and Stuart Place is now ahead of Lee Scott for the lead as well in the classic stock catches now. So Stuart Place,
and here comes Cooper
taking the lead
in the little Nova, has come up as well. He flings it at the at Village. Stubbington on the outside, Rosier on the inside. Cooper's just off the camera shot in the white Nova, and there they go. Well, it's Place who's leading from Scott, and they're coming to the bridge, and they'll be back in your sight very shortly.
Yeah, indeed. So Stuart Place had a victory at Donington Park. He came close at Mallory Park as well earlier on in the season. He's had just a couple of podiums during the year, and he's, I think, 6th or 7th in the championship coming into this weekend. But a victory here to round the season off. And so we're not quite round off. There's another race to come this afternoon. But Stuart Place then heading out of the corner. He's got a decent lead over Lee Scott now. Out of Woodcote, up to the line he goes, and he takes the checkered flag and wins round 13 of the Demon Tweaks Yokohama Classic Stock Cats Championship. Lee Scott, it is in second place. Matthew Stubbington is third. Matt Rosier back in fourth position in the end. Ted Cooper fifth, and Andrew Thorpe in sixth. They were all pretty close in the end in the classic stock catches. A little bit way back, you'll find Jeff Humphreys. We didn't really see him in shot, but he will take seventh position. And if I just feed that into my spreadsheet, so 22 points there for 23, I think, because Lee Scott may well have got fastest lap as well. No, he didn't. Andrew Thorpe did in the end. So 22 points for Lee Scott. Matt Rosier finishing fourth. No, third in the end, wasn't it? So he picks up 20, and yeah, so mathematically that is now Lee Scott for the championship title. But already we have Ben Rushworth heading down into the pit lane, a victorious Ben Rushworth, and he's had a pretty good season. That's now his 8th victory of the year in the Royal Purple Hot Hats Championship. Stephen Sawley there in second position. And we'll hear from Ryan Steele as well, our third place man, I'm sure. Lewis Beals will be down there in a moment to have a word with not only our top 3 from the hot hatches, hopefully the stock catches as well. In fact, Lewis, I can hear he's all ready to speak to us, so down to you, Lewis.
Thank you very much, Ian. Yeah, what a terrific race. We're watching it on the TV feed, and yeah, we've got no real problems. But absolutely great race in the stock hatches, and yeah, young Mr. Stubbington is a son of one of my former students. So that was good to see him come in third position. We'll have a chat. But what we're really waiting for is number 22. I was looking on the wrong page there at the moment. Always like Ben Rushworth, who absolutely made that for his own. Come on, Ben. Someone is... come on, Ben. Yeah, buddy. Hey, it's not though, you haven't done this before this week, is it?
What?
Had a win.
Oh, no. That's refreshing. No, it was good. It was good. I was loving following the classic stock hatch on the cool-down lap. it was brilliant watching them.
Yeah, they're a bit tasty, aren't they?
Yeah,
but
they were fighting like nothing else.
yeah, 8th win of the year, I believe.
If you say so, yeah.
Well, that's what Ian says. And
Okay,
we
so-
believe Ian, don't we?
yeah, it's good. I was happy with that. Steve got a great start, even though he's on the wet side, so I thought he had me scuppered. And I was thinking, with the wet lines there, how am I going to get past? But I just got a good drive into, what's turn 1 called? Cops?
Cops, yeah.
Cops, yeah. And managed to go around the outside of him and pull through Mega's packets. And yeah, managed to maintain that. But it was good. Good having Steve back.
Yep, because one of the good things about the Cops, you've got a lot of runoff area here on a Grand Prix circuit, haven't you?
Yeah, you can take the mick a little bit, as long as you count how many times you go off.
Well, do you think the touring car boys count?
Well, no, they got special rules. They're special boys, special players, so yeah.
But anyway, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good victory. What plans for next year?
I'll come back here, but I'm hoping to bring the car into Thunder Saloons and see what it can do against the V8 stuff.
Ooh, take a deep breath there.
Yeah, so slicks and probably lots of breakages, but it should be fun.
Okay, Ben, thank you very much. Congratulations on your victory. Anyway, second place is car number 63. It's Phil White. Is this Phil?
Yep, it is.
Phil, congratulations on second place. Ben, just a bit too quick for you today.
Well, it's Class A car, we're Class B, so...
Ooh, so a victory anyway. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I do beg your pardon. Yeah, I forgot. Good victory. Yeah.
We'd do well if we catch him.
Yeah, but he's going to go somewhere else next year, so you'll be able to move up the grid a bit.
Oh, that'd be nice, but moving up the grid comes with a lot more money, and we're on tight budget, so...
Well, that's right. Anyway, have you enjoyed your season?
Loved it, yeah, had a brilliant season. Without the sponsors, wouldn't be here, so great season for us.
Yeah, good to them. Okay, we're going. Hopefully, we've got the stock hatches in the way. Okay, we're looking for third in the
Thank you.
Royal Purple Hot Hatches. Sorry, not a third. I mean, this is the class winner, Class C winner, which is David Drinkwater. Here comes David. And anyway, many congratulations, David. Another victory, and also we believe you're champion, which you secured the last round.
Yeah, just had to wait for the points to come out midweek. So yeah, that's awesome. So Class C and overall as well in the hot hatch, which is superb.
Yeah, big grin on your face there.
Yeah, it's been a good weekend. So it's been a good weekend so far. Second race to go, and then hopefully that'll be another win. But we'll see.
Yes, well, many congratulations. I'll shake your hand because yeah, obviously it's delighted to be an overall champion. Who we got to thank?
Family and friends. Obviously, the other half was with the amount of time we spend on the cars. I guess you got to, and then everyone who puts in. I've got a lot of Tom and Will and Louis, and they all put loads of time and effort in and get everything ready for me and help me out with bits on the car, which is excellent. You know, it's a small unit.
Well done, David. Thank you very much, and we'll hope to see you later in the day.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Right, over to the Demon Tweaks Yokohama stock hatches. Here's our race winner. Go look at our race winner. Well, let me have a quick look. 87. It's well, we'll get there in a minute. Stuart. Many congratulations, Stuart. That was a tough race.
Yeah, it was. It was very, very hard. But luckily, in a way, the hot hatches helped me out a bit. There was a little bit of hassle, and then Lee outbraked himself. Matt just put the car in the right position for me to take a dive, and it wasn't too bad. So it all worked out.
Yeah, and 205s. I'm a former 205 owner. They're terrific cars, aren't they?
They have their moments. I'm on the third engine in the 3 meetings. This one's bits and pieces all thrown together to get me out here. So we're really pleased with how it is.
Are you going to make it 2 out of 2 later in the day?
Give it a go.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's have a look. So who was second? Second is Lee Scott. Hi, Lee.
Hi.
Terrific race there, but Stuart just pipped you.
Yeah, it was a great race. Hot hatches were a bit lively in places. I made a mistake, and Stuart sort of made ground on that, and fair play to him for that. So well done to him. For me, for the championship, it's more about being close or beating Matt, and all things being equal.
Okay, right, we're going to have a quick word with Matt, who... Hi, Matt, third place. Ooh, I mean, that was a bit tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit disappointing. I mean, I held the lead for a long while, but then we started catching up with the back markers from the Royal Hot Hatch, and they just haven't got the pace we've got. So together and just slowed my pace down, killed my tyres, and allowed Stuart and Lee to get past me. And so, yeah, I'm third.
All to play for in last race?
I don't know. Is it still possible on points? Because I'll give it everything.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to wait for Ian. Ian's the guru with his spreadsheets. He's an accountant, so he can add up.
Well,
but anyway,
let's hope it is, and I'll give it everything I can.
Okay, thank you very much. Cheers then, Matt. Right, so there we go. That's the 1, 2, 3. And just need to turn the page on my programme. As we have the BMW CCR Championship all ready to line up. And as they are lining up, we'll get back to you.
Yes, so we've got the cars lining up now for the penultimate round of the BMW Car Club Racing Championship on a beautiful afternoon, the blue sky here at Silverstone, and 2 races today for these cars. This one a 13-minute plus 1 lap race. They have a slightly longer race at the end of the day, over 18 minutes plus lap, and this coverage brought to you by Redbox Auto Lifts and other sponsors as well. We're very grateful, Auto Escalators and Lifts and Redbox Global for their support, and AA Woods as well. So we've got the cars going off onto their green flag lap now, so let me tell you how this grid will line up. There should be 28 cars out there, and on pole position for this one is number 91, which is Hugh Gurney. Alongside him will be the number 15 car of Graham Crowhurst. Second row, 33, Robert Davidson, and 26, Paul Cook, who is the second of the M2 class cars, Crowhurst being the first. Third row, you've got 146, Michael Pensaval, and 4, Gary Hufford. All of these in M3 so far, and indeed the same on row 4 as well. You've got the 44 car of Michael Cutt, and 11, David Kempton. On the 5th row, it's the first non-M3, it's the 1 Series V8 of number 2, Rick Carey, the former British Touring Car Championship driver, and 83, another M2 class car for Gary Burstow. Row 6, 67, Adrian Williams, and the invitation class car of long-time BMW racer number 35, Colin Whitmore in his Z36 M3 Evo. Then on row 7, it's 25, Darren Ball, and 59, Jim Benson, both of those in the class 6 for the 6-cylinder cars in their BMW 330 CIs. Then the next row has another 6-cylinder car, that's Kevin Denwood, number 7, in his E46 Compact, alongside another 330, that's for Kevin Granger. Row 9, you've got the 8 car of Bill Reddrop in his 330 CI, and the first of the Cup class cars, the man that could well be champion after this race, 46, Matt Page in his BMW 325 Ti. He just needs at least a 4th place finish within his class, and he's won his class on all occasions bar 1 this season, to wrap up the championship. 210, Michael Dark is on the 10th row of the grid, I should say, in his 328i, alongside number 3, Cass Singh's E46 M3. Another 1 Series car on the inside of row 11 is number 76, Stuart Pywell, the 125i. And next to that is the Cup class car of Carl McMillan. Row 12 will have 66, Mark Cormer's M2 class car, and 40, Sean Jackson in his 325i. Row 13, both Cup class cars, Paul Laramie, number 31, and Clive Watson, number 10. And then the final row, Gareth Thomas, number 68, and Simon Thorpe, number 222. Championship here, as I say, does still need to be decided. Matt Page very much in the box seat, as I say. He's had a very good record. He's won the Cup class on all occasions bar for the very first round of the season, actually. And so just needs one more 4th place finish, I think, to absolutely wrap up the championship even, and taking into account the drop scores. The closest driver to him that could mathematically take things away, well, the ones are Graham Crowhurst and fellow Cup class driver to Matt Page, actually, that's Clive Watson. But that scenario does seem unlikely. There are, of course, class battles to be decided as well. Class M1, by the way, just to explain that, is for the M series engined cars, so primarily M3s, and they are the more powerful cars. The M2s are slightly less powerful, lower power to weight ratio than their M1 counterparts, and so they race for separate class points, but actually you can see them well and truly mixed into the grid with Graham Crowhurst 2nd and Paul Cook 4th. And Marcus, we had a very good couple of races for these cars at Snetterton, didn't we, just a couple of weeks ago?
We certainly did, and they're very good-looking cars. They're even better when it comes to listening to them. They're really sonorous, those engines, and the E46 M3s up the front really do sound magnificent. As I was saying this morning, the Graham Crowhurst car has my award for the best livery of the year, the anti-camouflage. It's nothing subtle about it. It's really in your face, but it looks very, very good. I'm not so familiar with the likes of Michael Pensavale in 146, but he's done a good job. In fact, only half a second split Hugh Gurney in the silver car that's out front from Graham Crowhurst. Robert Davison, Paul Cook and Michael Pensavale behind, Gary Hufford leading that top 6, and they're all there or thereabouts, considering it was still damp in places on the circuit this morning.
Yeah, Pensavale appeared at Alton Park in the invitation class and did have a win there in one of the races. The wins have been spread far and wide in the championship this year. Overall wins, 3 of them going to Rick Kerry, 3 of them to Mike Cutt, 2 of them to David Kempton, ruining an engine failure before the first meeting.
Kerry's back in his 1 Series V8, isn't he? He drove an E46 at Snet.
Yeah, another car from the Jeff Steele stable, I think it was, that he had there. 2 for David Kempton, 2 for Gary Hufford, and a win each for Pensavale and Bradley. Both of those are invitation class drivers.
Kempton only 8th on the grid in the number 11 car, the E36.
Yeah, absolutely right. And he's got a busy day ahead of him because he's also doing the road sports race, which immediately follows this. So he's got dispensation to sort of miss out on Park Ferme, head straight to his garage, get refueled, and get back out to start the road sports race from the pit lane, where he races in the invitation class in that. So it's a busy next hour and a quarter or so for David Kempton. So the car's on to the grid then. Last car just into position. I'll look for the green flag. There it is at the back. And we will shortly get this race underway. 13 minutes plus 1 lap. So the red lights are on. And they go out and away they go then. And it's a pretty even start. They all seem to get away pretty well as they barrel down towards Copse Corner for the first time. It looks like it's Gurney from the outside there, which is pole position here, that sweeps through into the lead at Copse Corner. So it looks like Gurney in the number 91 car that leads as they head down towards Marcus for the first time.
Yeah, Gurney, Crowhurst and Cook by the looks of things. Then it's Pensavale, I think, and working their way through. See, Kerry's about 7th or 8th, something like that. 2 or 3 cars come into the corner side by side, this complex of corners, and they're off down onto the hangar straight, the leaders, and they meet maximum speed. Running out wide there was Jim Benson in one of the cylinder 330s. And down they come. Look at this, there's Kerry snorting down the right-hand side of the straight towards Stowe Corner. Trying to outbrake the white car that runs really wide as a result, but Kerry opens the door, and on the inside the orange one dived through.
That was Gary Hufford, I think, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah, and all of them were on the runoff area, weren't they, at the exits of Stowe Corner. Leaders then going through Club Corner then for the first time in this race, and it looks like it's Gurney that's got a decent advantage here over the rest of the field. Crowhurst in 2nd, Paul Cook in 3rd in the M2 class cars. We've got a spinner, and is that, yeah, that's the 210 car that's gone round, and that's Michael Dark in his 328i, so he's had a moment. So they're heading now down through Farm and towards the village hairpin for the first time. You've got Paul Cook there under a bit of threat from, I think that's the Michael Pensavale car in 4th position. So I'm about to pass you again, Marcus.
Yeah, the first 4 are through, and there's Pensavale looking very, very racy in behind Paul Cook. Dives out really early on the straight, so he comes down the inside towards Brooklands Corner, but he's been matched wheel to wheel by Cook, but he goes through under braking. He's in alongside Crowhurst as well.
And Cook's making a mistake there. Look, he's got a wheel on the grass, and that sent him into a big tail slide, which he's now caught up with, but
surprised he found some grass there. It's mainly tarmac these days.
He did. It was just on the inside, and he's dropped back down to 4th, and now for 2nd and 3rd, it's nose to tail. It's the Pensavale car that's challenging Crowhurst down in towards Copse Corner. You can see there the 2 of them are side by side, and it's the red car, the all-red car, I think, that goes through. The M1 class car, Pensavale, goes through now ahead of Crowhurst, so it's M1 cars 1st and 2nd, but a good lead this for Hugh Gurney on lap 1.
Yeah, and I wonder whether he's going to cook his tyres, because he's gone so hard, and it may well be that he can sustain this pace, but it's a very, very good early break from Hugh Gurney, who was on pole only by half a second. But now his closest challenger in practice is down to 3rd place, because Pensavalle has come up in that 146 car from 5th. And here they come, Pensavalle and Crowhurst, the chasers. Cook in the background after that moment. He's not been put off by that, nor has he lost any more ground. There's Crowhurst, the anti-camouflage car, coming through Stowe Corner, diving down into Vale. And then there's this big stop at the end of it now, because the sweeper approach to Club Corner that was there for a while has been taken out and is no longer licensed. There's Cook with cars queuing up behind him.
Yeah, they are indeed, aren't they? A couple of them anyway. And look at the ground he has lost to the first 3 as well, Paul Cook, after that moment down at Brooklands on the opening lap of the race. So Cook with behind him Robert Davidson and Mike Cook, the double Northern Sports and Saloon Car champion as well, who's won on 3 occasions this year, putting him under a bit of pressure now. But Hugh Gurney seems to have a decent lead. Any sign of anyone being able to catch him, Marcus?
Not at the moment. There's probably, I would think, a couple of seconds between them. Pensavalle has he's equidistant, 1st to 2nd to 3rd now. Cook's got a car alongside him, which is Robert Davidson in the silver car. Here he comes down the inside. He's making enough room to turn into... No, he brakes early, and Cook brakes later, regains the place round the outside into Brooklands, scene of his drama last time. They tuck into Luffield, and his car with a rather more extravagant, flamboyant wing to match the colour scheme goes well through Luffield.
Yeah, so Gurney's gone through, but the gap has been reduced to 1.92 seconds now. So Pensavalle's taken 0.7 of a second out of him on that lap. Crowhurst 3rd, Cook in 4th, Robert Davidson 5th, Michael Cutt in 6th position, Gary Hufford is 7th, David Kempton 8th, Rick Kerry 9th, and Adrian Williams rounding out the top 10. As far as the Cup class is concerned, well, that is Matt Page leading within the Cup class at the moment, but look at this battle. We've now got Cook has dropped back behind those 2, hasn't he? So I missed that. That's pretty happening on screen while I was looking at the timing screen. Cook's gone down to 6th, Marcus.
Yeah, let's see how it's all working out now. They're back onto the hangar straight, the leaders, and Rick Kerry's onto the back of that group as well in the V8, the white and turquoise car, and that is a really, really good 6-car chase. It's Hufford coming up the inside of Cook. Cook tries to brake later, but no way to get back across to the apex for Stowe Corner, and he tries to cut back, but he doesn't have the momentum to make that happen. And this is looking really strong.
Yeah, so they make their way back through the Vale towards Club Corner. Well, there is Crowhurst going through in 3rd position. Then this next group of cars going through with Michael Cutt now up into 4th position. But a great fight going on here with Hufford now ahead of Paul Cook as well. So Paul Cook, I suspect, must have a problem here because he's losing places.
And the leader has been caught. Pensavalle has caught up with the fast-charging Gurney, who's so quick out of the blocks. They are pretty much nose to tail, and Pensavalle gets a much better line, carries more momentum out of entry onto the Wellington Straight. Crowhurst is in 3rd place. 4th now is the car of Cutt, I believe. Then it looks like Davidson, and there's say that's that 6-car chase. It's a little bit spread out, and Kerry can't make any ground up that order.
He can't. Meanwhile, the 2 of them up front are absolutely together, as you say. Pensavalle was in the tow and looked like he might make a move into Brooklands. He didn't, possibly though. He'll try and make one into Copse Corner because he's right up behind now the race leader, number 91, Hugh Gurney, who's certainly having his best run of the season so far. Down towards Copse Corner they go, in towards the right-hander. No, it's still Gurney who's got enough pace there to stay ahead of Pensavalle in 2nd, but there was only a couple of tenths of a second between them as they crossed the line. About 6 seconds back in 3rd place is Crowhurst, but the 2 leaders back with you at Maggots and Beckett's.
Yes, about 4-car lengths between them as they come down to me. They turn through, and Pensavalle takes more speed into it. He goes a little bit wide in the 2nd element, dives down the inside into the 3rd, and at Chapel Curve he nicks the lead on the exit of the Beckett's complex. The red car shoots ahead. And so it's Michael Pensavalle from 5th on the grid in the 146 car who leads from the early pace setter Hugh Gurney. in the 91, the silver car that is on your screens as they come down into Stowe Corner. That was a really opportunistic bit of driving from Pennsylvania. The rest of them still battling behind.
Yeah, that's Mike Cutt that we've just picked up on screen there, just ahead of Robert Davidson. So he's ahead now of Davidson, up into 4th position he's gone. And Mick Kerry is making a bit of progress now, going past the ailing Paul Cook. And that will take him, I think, up into about 8th place by my reckoning.
Down into the last 4 minutes plus the timed element of the timed element plus 1 lap. So we're progressing really well through this race. 3 laps in.
Yep, Cuts there ahead of Davidson, and then just behind him is the Stevenage builder, Gary Hufford. Some MX5 racing and a couple of years racing the M3 Cup before switching to BMW Car Club Racing Series as it was last year. Championship status has been gained for this year, and Hufford has had a couple of wins in it, but doesn't really figure in the championship right at the sharp end, unfortunately.
Pennsylvania and Gurney have gone through. Crowhurst on his own in 3rd. Then it's Cutt. Behind Cutt is Davison. And behind Davidson, we've got the 3 cars. We've got Hufford in there. Kerry's moved up the order ahead of Cook. And then there's one more trying to go with them. That's Kempton, who's been shaken to the back of that group in the earlier E36 M3.
Yeah, so a really, really good race, this one. And the car's very evenly matched, it would seem, around this Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. Top 2 have gone through. Pennsylvania leading Gurney now by 1.1 seconds. Crowhurst rather lonely now in 3rd. Cutt 4th. Robert Davidson 5th. 6th is Gary Hufford, who you can see on screen there, just ahead of the 1 Series of the former BTCC racer Rick Kerry, who's going to have a look, I think, down the inside, possibly into Copse Corner to see if he can find a way through. But no, I think he's too far back. And then it's Paul Colgate, David Kempton in 9th place. And in 10th place, Gary Burstow. Still, as far as the Cup class is concerned, by the way, it is Matt Page that is ahead. So he's doing enough to wrap up the championship. In the 6-cylinder class, that is Jim Benson, who's got a decent lead actually over Kevin Denwood in 2nd place within the 6-cylinder class. In fact, we're looking at possibly that battle now. Within the lower classes. That might be Matt Page. We could see actually the number 46 car on screen just at the moment. Our Cup class leader just making his way through Luffield and out through Woodcote Corner. Yeah, certainly Stuart Pywell is there in the number 76 car that you can see, and then the next car through, the 46 car, the black car with the yellow and white stripes, that is Matt Page, our Cup class leader. Is now up to 17th place overall, actually, so he's getting more and more daylight between himself and his Cup class rivals.
Yeah, it was interesting. The car, the Pennsylvania battle, that seemed to be sort of stretching his way from Gurney. Then there's Crowhurst in a sort of lonely 3rd, but behind him it was getting really busy because we had Cutt, Davison, Hufford and Kerry all together. And the blue car has taken a bit of a whack, I see, on the front right corner. It's shedding its organs. And still running though, it's a BMW, which is a good old strong car. Through comes 146 then, Pennsylvania leading on this, the 5th lap.
Yeah, just watching these cars heading down the straight. You can see Matt Page's Cup class car. It's a very standard specification car. In the straights, it does get outclassed by some of the slightly quicker machinery, but through the corners, that's where Matt Page is able to make it up, and he's having a good old scrap there with one of the 6-cylinder class cars. Meanwhile, up front, Pennsylvania, as you say, Marcus is continuing to lead. He's just about to come past me now, and he'll get 2 more laps to go at the end of this one. He's there ahead of Hugh Gurney. He is in amongst the traffic now. Here is the battle for the sort of minor places, 4th backwards, you can see here.
Haven't quite caught Crowhurst, have they?
No, they've not. And they've got, well, what have they got? I can tell you, 1.3 seconds to make up on him. So they are edging their way there. There was actually a 2nd made up on that lap by Michael Cutt. So we could have a battle for the final podium positions before too much longer, I reckon. The
problem is, if Crowhurst finds traffic at an inopportune moment, they've gone past one of the compacts here, and that's going to split them up a little bit in Beckett's. But Kerry and the guy he was chasing, it was Hufford, managed to find their way through without losing too much momentum. Then they snort down the straight, and there is Cook and Kempton as well. they're not that far behind. But they've caught, in fact, Cutter's caught Crowhurst now. So down the hanger straight, Cut looks to the inside, Crowhurst counters, and then kind of eases out so he can dive in for the apex of the corner. That was a fairly robust move down the inside. Didn't quite happen.
And yeah, but now Cut is alongside us, and we hear this is going to be the last lap of the race. So it's Cut that has gone through there to third place. It's not for class position. Crowhurst still ahead in class M2, but Cut up into third place overall there. As we watch Michael Pensaval now heading down in towards Abbey with Hugh Gurney behind him. Then this is the battle for third backwards. So Cut, Crowhurst and Robert Davidson there, the 33 car in fifth position. They turn their way through the right-hander now in this BMW Car Club Racing Championship race, round 13 of 14. The final round will be at the end of the afternoon's racing here at Silverstone.
Leaders then snorting out onto the Wellington straight. This time, in fact, I think Gurney's a little closer to Pensaval, but Pensaval looks to have it pretty well sorted out. I think they can negotiate. Brooklands okay. Then we've got Cut and Crowhurst and Davidson all together. Davidson going to pop out of the toe, looks one side, probably not the side to try it on the outside, coming down there towards the corner.
Meanwhile, the leaders then are through Luffield then for the final time, out towards Woodcut. The checkered flag, I can see, is ready on the finish line, and it's going to go out to Michael Pensaval. It's his second victory of the season. Hugh Gurney gets his best result of the season in second place as well. And third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth and ninth are pretty much right together, because it's Mike Cut that takes third, Graham Crowhurst fourth, Robert Davidson fifth, Rick Kerry sixth, Gary Hufford seventh, Paul Cook eighth, and David Kempton ninth. Then there will be a gap back to the 10th place car, which I think will be Gary Burstow, quite a long way back by the looks of things. But a good win that for Michael Pensaval by 1.3 seconds, and Mike Cut a strong drive through to take third position.
Yeah, that was great. This is one of the most attractive championships that's out on the circuits these days in club racing, to my eyes. And always love to see a hot BMW, particularly when they're driven very well.
Absolutely. So we've got the remaining cars coming through, just getting over the line now. I can see the 35 car of Colin Whitmore, a long-time competitor in other BMW championships. It's good to see him hopefully dipping his toe into the water for a more regular appearance this season. Let's have a look at this battle coming up the Wellington Straight, though. At the head of this group, it is Stuart Pywell in the number 76 1 Series, and just behind him you've got Mark Culmer and Bill Redrop, I think, within that group, and then not too far behind them you should have Matt Page as well. Matt Page, yes indeed, is just in behind this trio of cars that are making their way through Luffield and Woodcut Corner now. So it's going to be Stuart Pywell going through for 16th place, 17th and 18th going through, but then the next car through, taking the checkered flag now, number 46, Matt Page. With that Cup Class win, he will wrap up the championship, the BMW Car Club Racing Championship as well, for 2019. There he is on your screen now in the centre of shot. He is your champion. That is Matt Page, number 46. So many congratulations to him. He's had a very good season, beaten only once all season in the Cup Class.
Yeah, I think you said he won all the races by the very first one, didn't he?
That's right, yeah.
That's a great effort.
And I think I'm right in saying he's a novice driver as well, or was at the beginning of the year, so an excellent debut season for him. There you can see the cars making their way round on the slowing down lap, and it's been a very good race. They have a slightly longer race later on, an 18-minute plus 1 lap race, so it's about a third longer.
That could be a bit more tactical, couldn't it?
It could, with tyre wear it does come into play on these cars. You don't want to push too early, because then you might not have a car that handles as you'd like it in the final 5 minutes or so of the race. It's quite an important element around here at Silverstone as well these days on this Grand Prix layout. So just to go through Class 6, because we didn't really see too much of that in the race. The 6-cylinder class, that was won by Jim Benson, fairly resoundingly actually, over Kevin Denwood, and Darren Ball took third place. Ball it is, though, that probably will wrap up the Class 6 championship this weekend. Graham Crowhurst looking for odds-on favourite to wrap up Class M2. And actually that performance there from Mike Cut to get third place, well, he's leading Class M1 coming into this weekend, so he's extended his advantage there over Rick Kerry and Gary Hufford, who were his two main rivals within Class M1. So it looks like he's had a pretty good round there and getting a step close towards the M1 Class Championship. So the car's heading into the pit lane, or the first of them anyway. And actually the first one that comes back round is David Kempton. He is going to be the driver that's going to make his way back to his pit garage, because he's out in the next race, in the Tagiwa Road Sports race. That comes up next, and but shortly following him through will be hopefully our top 3 drivers who will be stopped, or probably will get our class winners down in the pit lane. We can see them about to head in to the winners' slots there. The garland is ready to be handed out, and hopefully Lewis Beals is down there ready and waiting to talk to us. Lewis.
Thank you very much there, Ian. Yes, it's a lovely day here, isn't it? It's bright, a little bit cold, but we'll take it. There's no rain. And we have Michael Pensavale, who has just pulled the 146 car up and is about to be presented with his garland by David. Come on, Michael, have a chat with us. Michael, you're steaming up on the old classes, mate.
No, what a result.
Yeah, terrific.
I know, first time I've done the GP track. So I had qualifying to learn the track, and I had the race to try get a result. So yeah, thanks to my team, Carl, my dad, RJ Developments, AST Suspension, everybody that's helped me to get here. So yeah, hopefully we'll be doing a few more of these races next year.
You look really chuffed with yourself.
I am, yeah, because I entered at Alton Park and there were rumours that I might have been, I don't know, maybe cheating a little bit. So we've come back to a track I've never done and won first time out. So I can't not be happy, really.
Many congratulations.
Thank you.
We might see you again later in the day.
Hopefully. All
right, buddy. Well done. Thank you very much. So that was our overall winner and Class M1. We've now got M2 winner. That's a quick clicker. It's Graham. Graham, congratulations. Good race.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's a good race. Got my head down at the start. Paul, who was behind me in my class, got a really good start. I don't know what happened to him, and I had a big gap to the M1s. I knew the power they had. I knew they would come through, so I just tried to get head down. Made a couple of mistakes, but 4th overall and first in class. So I think that does me win for the championship.
Ooh, well, we'll have to get Ian on this one, won't we? So, anyway, congratulations, and if not, you could actually sell sum it all up later in the day.
Well, hopefully, yeah. Hopefully, if we have just as good a race as that, even regardless of results at the end, then I'll be very happy.
Okay, mate, thank you very much. Well, Class 6 winner is car number 59. Jim, where's Jim? Come on, Jim. Let's have a chat. Jim, you look happy?
Oh, very happy with that. Yeah, I wasn't sure how the start was going to be. Obviously, gridded up, took second in qualifying, which meant I was starting on the wet line. Obviously, the sun hadn't reached that part yet, so I was hoping for a good getaway, which thankfully I got.
Well, that's it, and pretty straightforward from there.
It was, yeah. I managed to build a gap in front of Kevin Denwood and Darren Ball behind me, the championship contenders. So I was pretty pleased to see a gap emerge.
Okay, mate, and hope we're going to do it again later in the day?
Well, I think so. I'll start on pole for the second race, so hopefully on the dry side, although it'll probably be dry everywhere by then.
Okay, mate, we'll hope to see you later in the day. Right, the Cup class winner, as late entrants, Matt Page. Where's Matt? Come on, Matt, let's have a look. Matt, you had a good run.
Yeah, I had a brilliant run out there. I was battling with a few Class 6s out there. It was,
yeah, I saw you get on the telly. Yeah, you're having a whale of a time.
I was a bit punching above my weight, I'm not going to lie, but I was just trying to stay in the mix with them, really. But a bit above my Cup class, I think. I don't know where they finished behind me, but I just got a good start, to be honest with you, and just kept it going from there, really. I just thought I'd just punch it and see how we got on.
Well, you didn't do too badly either. First time you've been in the series?
Second year, first year properly running a cup anyway, so it's been a really good year, I think. We've won I think 12, and is it now? I don't know, I'm not sure.
Anyway, well done, congratulations. Hope to see you later in the day.
Yeah, thank you, see ya.
Right then, so that's it. That's the class winners in the BMW CCR Championship. We've got the Teagueway Road Sports Series now about to take to the track, and Dave Vincent has just told me that he's not an entrance as he blew the clutch up on the Honda Civic Type R in yesterday's Berg Cup relay race. So, Road Sport Series coming up.
So the Tagiwa Road Sport Series up next for what is normally a 45-minute race, but today it's a 40-minute race around the Grand Prix circuit. We've got 29 cars out on the grid, and they're forming up now. They look absolutely splendid, and we should be in for a really good race. And I could actually see an extra car appearing on the back that I wasn't expecting to see in the form of Ivor Mayer's BMW, but we'll get that sorted in a moment. We'll give you a rundown on the grid just as soon as the cars get away on their green flag lap. A reminder that this isn't a championship, it's just a series of races. Last time out at Snetterton, it was Michael Price that won in his Porsche Cayman GT4 from Paul Cook and David Kempton. Probably a different cast of drivers this weekend. Ivor Mayers is finding his way towards his correct grid slot now. I see he should be there on row 7. You can probably just see him on the screen now, just squeezing through into his grid position. This season we've had 5 races, we've had 5 different winners as well. Peter Urseg, the only Class B driver to have won outright this season in his Porsche, but Matthew Weymouth, Paul Cook, Warren Allen and Michael Price have all taken victories during the course of the season that's gone on. It's all been Porsches or BMWs that have done the winning this season. But lots and lots of different drivers have taken advantage of this 45-minute, and in this case 40-minute format. What I don't have, I'm afraid, is details of the start drivers for this race, so hopefully that can be sent through from race control before too much longer. I'll tell you though how the grid will line up. On the front row then, it's going to be the 165 car. That is Warren Allen going solo in his Porsche Cayman, and alongside him, or should be number 91 Hugh Gurney, but we've just seen him out in the previous race, the BMW race. The second row will be the 78 car of Kevin Dengate, and alongside him number 11 David Kempton. Again though, he will be starting from the back, from pit lane, having been out in the previous race. The number 9 car is next up. That's Peter Urseg, the winner from Cadwell Park in his Porsche Cayman S, and alongside him will be number 51 Natalie McGloin and Andrew Bayliss, also in a Porsche Cayman S. Fourth row we'll have on the inside number 1 Nick Williamson in the BMW E46, and 15, which is Robert Rees in the Mini Cooper. That is row 4. Row 5, that will be the 50 car, Ben Leach in his Honda Civic Type R, who we've seen out in hot hatch for much of the season, and he'll be alongside the 130 car, which is going to be driven by Josh Leake and Luca Diella today. Row 6 will have number 7, that's Andy Ebden and Paul Wells in the Caterham 7310R, and 57 Jamie McHugh in the Porsche 944. On the 7th row, 39 is Adam Lewis. He's there in the Toyota MR2 Mark II, and 316 Ivor Mayers in the BMW 330. Row 8 will have 68 Richard Baxter in the Mazda MX-5, and 20, which is Tim Stracey in the Lotus Elise S3 Sport. Then on row 9 it's going to be number 19 Tony Hobbs in the Peugeot 106, and 213, which is Daniel Cogswell Row 10, 64 will be Simon Walker. He shares the car with Josh Harmer, and 178 Pete Seeley. That's another Toyota MR2. Row 11, 10 is Ken Adlard sharing with Will Arif today in the Alfa Romeo 145, and 132 Mike Rayner in the Lotus Elise S1. Then the next row, which is row 12, 148 Mike Nash sharing with Jeremy Buckley in the Toyota MR2, and 118 Robert Quantrill. Then it is, that's in the Renault Clio. Row 13, 22, Chris Fantana, sharing with Nick Ramsden in the Mazda MX-5, and 172, Chris Heathcote in the Renault Clio. We saw that out in the hot hatches earlier. Josh Harmer, 111 in the BMW 116. Should have Rob Boston and William Stacey alongside him in the Lotus Elise. Actually, I think it's just William Stacey for the purpose of this race. And then at the back, 146 Michael Pensaval. But again, I don't think he was seen in qualifying, so I don't think we'll see the man who won the previous BMW race out there on the grid for this one. So the cars, you can see, already making their way down the Wellington straight back towards me. I do apologise that I don't have the start drivers to be able to give you for this race. Hopefully they will be sent through to me shortly, so I can pass you that information on as the race gets underway. But on pole position there, we do have Warren Allen driving solo in this Porsche Cayman, and that's a magnificent looking car. And there's actually quite a few of these Porsche Caymans. I think 3 out of the first 4 cars are the Caymans, with the Kevin Dengate Red Rascal BMW, which was out yesterday in the Birkett 6-hour relay race, the interloper amongst those 4 cars. A good looking grid, this, Marcus.
It's a great looking grid, and right at the back, lurking, having come out of the pit lane, by the looks of things, are Hugh Gurney and David Kempton.
Yep, I can see those there now as I look to my right. I do now have the start drivers with me. Thank you very much for that. So I can tell you, he said, trying to read this in a very dark commentary box, it looks like it's Josh Harmer that's going to be starting the 64 car, Will Arith the 280 car, Jeremy Buckley the 148 car. As the final car's coming into position, it's going to be Natalie McGloin is starting her Cayman, and Luca Diella starting the 130 car that's being shared with Josh Leake. So most of them are actually single drivers for this 40-minute race today, but there is a mandatory pit stop to be made as well, and that is going to be between 15 and 30 minutes. So final cars are just slotting into position now. We'll soon get the green flags at the back. You are right, Marcus, we do have Hugh Gurney and David Kempton. They're going to start the race at the back of the grid, so expect to see them scorch their way through the field. The lights go out then, the race gets underway, and this big field heads down towards Copse Corner for the first time. Is it going to be a Porsche or a BMW? It is going to be the Porsche on pole position of Warren Allen that goes around the outside to lead into Copse Corner for the first time, Marcus. So it's a Porsche up ahead.
Yeah, it is. It's Warren Allen who leads from the red BMW, and blue and green BMW comes through next. Then it is the number 9 car next of the Porsches, and already up a few places are Gurney and Kempton. They're having to pick their way fairly gingerly through the tail enders in less powerful cars, but it won't take them terribly long to get themselves up in the sharp end of the field. Down the Hanger Straight goes. It's absolutely fantastic to watch. Cars of all shapes and sizes in this road sports race, and there's some good Dyson. One of the Lotus is coming through the middle there, isn't it? Past a Toyota. Some really well presented cars too, imaginatively turned out.
Yeah, absolutely right. So they're heading down towards Stoke first. There you can see one of the BMWs making ground. That looks like Hugh Gurney down the inside, making up a place or two. That's getting past Pete Seeley's bewinged MR2. It sprouted that wing during the course of this season.
That's really bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah. It looks a little bit odd. There you can see the sole Caterham in the race. We've had lots of Caterhams out yesterday, but that's the only Caterham here today. The Andy Ebden and Paul Wells 280
has just been dragged past me on the back of a tow truck, on a rope.
Okay, right.
It's the Alfa Romeo.
Okay, so that's Will Arif who was due to start that car and clearly hasn't. There's Ben Leach in his Civic going through, so he's making some good progress up the order as well by the looks of it, because he started there on row 5 of the grid. So it looks like he's making some forward progress in that Civic as well. Of course, a lot of these drivers will be having their first experience this weekend of the Silverstone Grand Prix circus, I expect. So it's a whole new voyage of discovery, and if they only did practice this morning, that was only a handful of laps, really.
That's right. Gurney's about halfway up the field now, which is impressive to see from the back, but he's got all the power and the experience of having driven the circuit earlier this morning. Here he comes round the outside of, that's the blue and orange Honda, isn't it? The Marler Pistons liveried car.
Yeah, coming up towards the end of the opening lap of the race. The leaders have already gone through. Warren Allen leading by about 2 seconds. Kevin Dengate in second place. Ben Leach up to third then in his Honda. A very good first lap from him from row 5. Fourth is Nick Williamson. Fifth is the Class B leader. No, it's not Ben Leach, it's the Class B leader, I beg your pardon. Fifth is Peter Urseg. Sixth is Robert Rees in the Mini. He was out in the Radical yesterday. Seventh, the Ebden and Wells car. Eighth, Natalie McLeod in the Cayman, so she's gone backwards a bit at the start. Ninth, number 91, Hugh Gurney up from the back, and 10th, 57, Jamie McHugh's Porsche. And we are watching one of the Porsches now. And
Gurney and Kempton, 9th and 11th from the back. That's quite telling.
Yeah, that's the Peter Urseg Porsche, I think, that we've been watching there, because it has just got past the Nick Williamson BMW M3 in the sort of blue and turquoise livery, and as they head into Stowe Corner, it's Urseg in the Class B car that's moved up into 4th position overall, now chasing after the Class B leader, Ben Leach, in his Honda Civic. So Urseg was winner in a slightly bizarre race at Cadwell Park. It was red flagged just after the, or just amid the pit stop window, which of course meant that the result was all rather random. Nevertheless, Urseg was credited with the win. There you can see Ben Leach ahead of him, who's done much work to develop his Honda Civic over the past year or so. And normally, as I say, he's been racing in hot hatch rather than road sports. But there's Urseg number 9, a long-time racer as well in the Porsche Club Championship as well.
Yeah, and still Warren Allen who leads the way. One of the Porsches had an enormous spin through here at the end of practice as I was coming out to the commentary box. Second place is still Dengate. Third is Leach with the very quick Honda. Then it is Urseg in the Porsche. Then it's Williamson.
Leaders coming through to complete lap 2, and I'm wondering if Kevin Dengate is eating into the advantage here of the race leader, Warren Allen. 2.09 seconds was the gap at the end of the opening lap of the race. They're coming through to complete lap 2 now, as you watch the number 130 car on screen, but the gap between the two leaders is now 1.73, so about a quarter of a second or so, 0.3 of a second has been reduced from Warren Allen's lead there. So Kevin Dengate going after him quite effectively. The 130 car you could see was Luca Diella, who started the Class B Honda that he's sharing with Josh Leake.
Yeah, leaders past me with quite a considerable advantage, those two, over the third place Scott Leach in the Honda. Behind the Honda is Urseg in the silver and red Porsche. Then Williamson, that very vividly liveried BMW. But look who's behind him in the mirrors. It's Hugh Gurney from the back of the field. And he looks very menacing. What's Gurney's lap time's looking like? Ian, you've got the screen there.
Yeah, so 1.73 seconds the gap between Allen and Dengate. Another 8 seconds back to Ben Leach in third, then another 2.5 back to Urseg in fourth. Class C, by the way, that's being led by Pete Seeley in that bewinged MR2 ahead of Adam Lewis, also in an MR2. There you can see Nick Williamson in, well, it was in 5th position, now into 6th. You've got Williamson, who's was 1.6 seconds behind Urseg at the start of the lap, but now you'll have Gurney herring after him. There is Gurney now on your screens in that number 91 car, having this very busy morning of qualifying and racing. Probably do even longer stints doing this than he would doing the Burkitt Relay yesterday. So he's making his way onto the, as we watch here, that is one of the Porsches going through, and just ahead of the number 20 car, that's Tim Strater. So that's Natalie McLeod, I think, battling with Tim Strater, just outside the top 10.
Local lady from Toaster, Natalie McLeod, just down the road.
Yeah, and I think she sits on the FIA Disability and Motorsport Commission as well.
Which she does.
Memory serves. And so the leaders, meanwhile, back up towards me at Liverpool again. I think Kevin Dengate continuing to chip away at the advantage, but let's continue to watch this good little scrap going on. It's Tim Stracey there in the number 20 car that's right with McGloin, and having a great old race there. He's in the Elise S3.
Yeah, Natalie's Porsche's on hand controls, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, tries it really well.
She does indeed. And there we can see Ben Leach, a change of Class B lead, because Ben Leach is slowing now, so Peter Urseg goes through. That's out of my commentary box window, so Ben Leach has got problems. He's dropped back to 5th place now because Hugh Gurney's also gone through, so Hugh Gurney now up into 4th place as well from the back of the grid. This is a tremendous effort, Marcus.
Yeah, very much so. And so Urseg is 3rd, you say?
He is now, yes.
Yeah, Leach 4th.
Oh, Leach down to 5th.
Yeah, in fact, he's 5th, yes, because he's now behind Gurney. Gurney will be up another place pretty smartly, because he'll extend the power of that BMW down the hangar straight towards Stowe Corner.
Just watching this battle on screen as well, because the Tim Stracey cars have now got Luca Diella right behind in that 130 Honda Civic as well. That was just heading through Copse Corner. We pick up the cars as they head down Hanger Straight, and there you can see David Kempton, who's now ahead of Nick Williamson, up into 6th position. So he's also had a good run up the field. Who's done the best lap of the race so far? It looks like Hugh Gurney's done a 2:22.82 as the fastest lap of the race so far. The leaders are only lapping in 2:24s, so you would think that we'll see a change before the end of this race, but we've got the pit stops to come as well. Just on the subject of pit stops, by the way, Peter Urseg is one of the few drivers that will have to serve a penalty because of success in previous races. He has 15 seconds to serve. Warren Allen, our race leader, has to serve a 10-second penalty. Chris Heathcote 10, Pete Seeley 5, and Ivor Mayers, they all have to serve an extra 5 seconds over and above the standard 60 seconds you have to be stationary in the pit lane. The leaders, though, are nose to tail now, I can see.
They certainly are down the Wellington Straight, and it wasn't quite close enough for the BMW driver to have a go here, Kevin Dengate.
Yeah, 1.6 seconds was the gap at the start of the lap, so Dengate in the BMW has eaten into that. He's got the faster lap of the two already during the course of this race.
We've got Leach slowing dramatically. He's down 4 or 5 places now, and I would think destined for the pits, because we've got up into 3rd place now is Hugh Gurney.
As challenge going on for the lead there down towards Copse Corner. Can the BMW of Kevin Dengate, the Red Rascal car, find a way through? The answer at the moment is no. So now they turn through Copse and head down to the left-hand Maggotts into your side.
The answer actually is yes, because Dengate now is ahead, and yeah, he goes through. That's the car that's missing its rear valance, etc., after a bit of a clonk in the 6 hours yesterday, but he leads the way in 3rd place now. Is Hugh Gurney all the way from the back, and he's mighty down through Maggotts. The kink here, absolutely flat chat through there, brakes as late as he can, carries as much speed through. Kempton's behind him, then it's Urseg in the red and silver Porsche. Then it's a gap back to Nick Williamson, and you know he's absolutely on his own, and now nobody is in sight whatsoever. Looking back towards Copse Corner.
Yeah, but into the pits has, as we suspected, come Ben Leach. There he is. The number 50 car was running very strongly, leading Class B for a brief while at the start of this race. But poor Ben, although he's got that car going pretty quickly on occasion, it has had some unreliability as well. And here's into the pits, I'm afraid. Picking up the battle on screen now. That's the Clio, isn't it? Just behind the Ginetta, a bit further back down the order, and a good scrap going on there as they make their way down towards us once again. And that, I reckon, is a battle, yeah, just out. It's for 20th and 21st. Richard Baxter in the Ginetta, I think, and Chris Heathcote in the Clio. That was the one that we could see on screen there. Both of those were Class C and D cars. The cars divided into power-to-weight ratio classes. They're just behind Tony Hobbs as well in the little Peugeot 106. Class D being the, as you'd expect, the lowest power-to-weight ratio class, working your way up to Class A right at the top. All of this helped to be policed by the 750 Motor Club's own dyno. Just in behind them as well, it looks like you've got a couple of other cars, including the 213, the Nissans in there as well, possibly. So they're making their way down towards the Vale, and it's Hobbs at the moment at the head of that little group, with Baxter just behind, and now Heathcote in the Clio trying to outbrake him. Bit of a luck up from one of them there, but the Ginetta for the moment stays ahead as they head through Club now and onto the international pit straight. Once again, that's going to be for their 5th time. The leader's already coming through to complete 5 laps. It's Dengate now leading by 1.27 seconds from Warren Allen. Hugh Gurney in 3rd place is another 14 seconds behind, but he's lapping 2 seconds a lap faster than Warren Allen, but not as quick relatively as Kevin Dengate. Well, he's lapping quicker than Kevin Dengate, but not as much as he is quicker than Warren Allen, if you see what I mean. Still, there's a great fight going on down towards you, actually, Marcus, into your side.
Yes, that's right.
On the screen.
It's kind of a catch-weight contest, and there's some lappery involved, I think, there as well, which is quite interesting. But it's that little Saxo, isn't it, that's hanging on just ahead of pretty much 3 abreast down the straight now.
It's actually Josh Harmer in the Ginetta. It's Richard Baxter in the MX-5. I should correct myself. And they're side-by-side heading down the Wellington Straight. And it's the Ginetta of Harmer that's not going to go through ahead of the 106 of Hobbs.
Yes, 106 I couldn't really see in this bright sunlight. It's you can't pick up the numbers at all.
No, it is really difficult. We shouldn't be complaining that after
We're not complaining after
yesterday. Heathcote's going to try and come back at Hobbs now as they come through Woodcote Corner, and I think he's got a little bit more straight line speed in that Clio, and he goes through. Harmer in the Ginetta will try and follow through, and then Baxter's not too far behind either in the MX-5, so 4 quite different cars here. Of different ages as well, from the sort of late 80s, early 90s in the case of the MX-5, and also the Peugeot 106, bang up to date with that Ginetta G40 and Clio from the noughties.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, when it comes to all the stops, etc., because Alan has that penalty, talk about the 10-second additional penalty. That's going to help Hugh Gurney, isn't it?
It will.
Yeah.
It will. Dengate's, though, got no penalties to serve, and he's out front at the moment. The leaders have gone through to complete 6 laps, 1.94 seconds now between Dengate and Allen. Here comes Hugh Gurney about to cross the line, so let's see if he's got that gap down any further on that lap. No, not really. His lap time is identical to the car in front of him, Warren Allen, to the nearest 100th of a second, 2:24.21 for both of them. That time turn, watching that battle as well. Look, side by side between the Ginetta of Harmer and the Peugeot of Hobbs as they head down into the Vale, left and then right, and onto Club Corner. Hobbs has got the line there. Ginetta runs out wide, might leave the door open for the Mazda of Baxter as well. He tries to get through on the inside as they come back onto the international pit straight. This is just right at the back end of the top 20. And the other car that's now getting involved is, I think, that is the Nissan of Almera, I think, that's getting involved with 213.
One of the most unusual race cars I've ever seen.
Yes. I don't recall seeing a Nissan Almera racing before.
I don't think it was something the company really intended. But nonetheless, there's one here, so let's not complain.
Not at all, but it just kind of makes you wonder what the thought process was when they decided to go racing.
Probably exceptionally good value.
I suspect so.
Yeah.
So they are heading through once again.
My late godfather's last car was a Nissan Almera. And he had a Rochdale Olympic in the 60s, and he auto-crossed and hill climbed and sprinted an NSU Prince 4 as well, which is almost unthinkable, because he could out-sprint an NSU Prince 4 on foot.
It's Daniel Cogswell that's out in the Almera, and so an interesting choice of race car.
Might be the world's leading Nissan Almera expert.
He could be. Well, Chris Heathcote, by the way, has sprinted away from this pack now in his Clio, the Track Obsession liveried car, but it's still leaving 4 of them to play with, because you've got the Almera that's joined in the back, so you've got Hobbs, Harmer, Baxter and Cogswell in the Almera all together there, just heading, about to head through shot. Looking a bit further up, we could see the Mini going through, and then the Lotus. This is down Hanger Straight. That looked like, I think that's Pete Seeley's MR2 as well, which is the leading Class C car in 13th position overall. as we're going back to this battle involving Natalie McGloin now, down towards the Vale.
Ian,
Lewis.
just update you on Ben Leach. It's an unidentifiable misfire, engine problem.
No, that's a shame. You're going to have another pit visitor before much longer, by the way, because David Kempton is in. We are now past the 15-minute mark, so the pit window is open. So David Kempton heading down the pit lane. He, like most of these drivers, is going solo, so no driver change to be done there, but he will still have to stop for a minute. He runs in the invitation class as well, by the way, just David Kempton, because his car just a little bit too powerful to be classified within Class A or on the power-to-weight ratio scale that we run. Ivan Mayer's just going through shop there, I could see, with Adam Lewis's MR2. There they are, heading down the international pit straight. And that means that Ivan Mayers is now ahead of Lewis and up into 15th position.
He's from Northern Ireland, from Coleraine, where there's the famous Eagles Rock hill climb just outside Coleraine. Did it in the Formula 2 Rold.
Wow.
Utterly terrifying. Great fun, but utterly terrifying.
We're quite lucky to get Ivan Mayers here this weekend, because he's a regular at the Formula Ford Festival, which is also taking place this weekend. Another car into the pits now is the Caterham. That's the Ebden and Wells car. So that has gone in from 8th place.
All the people.
So we've had Kempton in, we've had the Ebden and Wells Caterham.